I now want to take a couple of minutes to tailor and to customize the production book template to your specific needs, to your specific style of shoot, to your person. You might go like, well, why even bother? To understand this, let's zoom back to our 30,000 feet view. What are we doing here? I mean, you can produce a lot of good stuff if your workflow is very efficient. On the other hand, if it's not efficient, then these inefficiencies will steal so much time from you that you simply won't have time to produce a lot of good stuff. Yeah, even if your skills are excellent. Yeah, I mean, put an excellent engine into a very inefficient system, and then all the excellence of the engine is gone. Now, the outcome is just mediocre or even worse. And one aspect of efficiency in our case is that we want to do work only once and not many times. So in order to achieve this goal with our production book template, we want to change already all the things that we would change pretty much every time we produce such a book and hand it out to a client and to our team members and so on. We want to do all the changes right now, once, then save it, then reuse it, but in a very specific way. So let's go through it. I would say let's split it up into two parts. First, let's customize the template, meaning we put in our name and details, the studio address of our standard studio, and so on, all the stuff that we would usually put in, and then we will save the template for later reference. Then in the second phase, we tailor the document, meaning there we go one step further and we delete all the sections that we typically don't need in our shoots. And this is when we arrive at a version which 100% fits your needs, fits your style of shoots, and which makes it then easy and very fast to produce a planning document for each and every shoot. Without doing all the repetitive stuff over and over again. So let's dive into it and let's first customize it. Obviously, over here on the cover, you want to have your name. In my case, that would be Michael Selbe. And below it's photographer, so whenever the document now speaks of photographer, it's clear my name is meant. I would also suggest that you put your name into the copyright over here, because you want all this stuff to be copyrighted. You don't want anybody to go with your planning document somewhere else and say, hey, can you do this shoot for me, right? So it's copyrighted now to your name. Then the next thing is put your details into the team section. You remember everyone in the team is listed over here, also the photographer. So let's jump there. And let's go to the photographer and say that is you, or in my case, it's Michael Selbe. You would put your mobile number over here in case anyone needs to reach you. You would put your email over there. And if you've got team members which are always there, like you always have the same first assistant, for instance, or always have the same digital tech, put their details in there as well. Because more often than not, you want to have them in there, and if there's one shoot where that changes, fine, then we can still change it. But for right now, put in all the details of people who are always with you on the shoots. Then the next thing would be if you've got a standard studio, let's say a fallback location studio, once you go on location, or if the studio is your main location, whatever it is, you put the address over there. In my case, it would be Limited and Co. KG. Definitely want to have the address over here. So then map and driving instructions, very useful over here. For the moment, I would put there just a link to make it now real simple. So Word turns that into a link. If we follow the link, let me make this one bigger. If we follow the link, then we end up on a Google page where you've got the address and details and also map, and over here Anybody can calculate a route from wherever to the location and so on. So that is pretty useful, and but there's nothing wrong with directly pasting a piece of map into this document. A lot of people, when they're driving, will be thankful for that. Yeah. Then something else you probably want to change is the gear and papers checklist, where your typical gear is listed. I would put in the stuff that you typically use when shooting. I mean, this is just a list. I put it there, but for instance, I would usually not anymore use a gray card, but I would use a color checker passport. Yeah, and you will use something completely different. So put it here. Maybe leave in a bit more gear than, or if you're sitting on the fence, and put something in rather than leaving it out, because it's easier for any given shoot to delete some items than to think about adding them in back again, right? So that would be one thing. And another thing that you may add is at the end of the document, you might want to add releases. Like the Getty releases that we already talked about. I don't add it into the template because I cannot distribute the Getty releases, but you already downloaded them, or you got an app which is producing them, so there's nothing wrong to put in a couple of them at the end of the document. So just in case you need them printed, you have them handy with your production book. And that's it for customization. Now, what you do is you save this customized document as production book complete. Yeah, it's a complete book. And now in the second step, we tailor it. That means we strip out stuff we don't need. Now, for instance, if my team is, if my team doesn't have a producer, if I'm my own producer, then let's get rid of them. If I don't work with a videographer for making off videos, we don't need them over here, right? So that is something I strip out. Or let's say if I work in studio only and I pretty much never go on location, get rid of location. There it goes. We also have the location checklist. Boom, gone. Let's see that we don't leave a blank page over here. Delete, delete, delete. Scenes we always have, right? So that is fine. You got the idea. Go through it, tailor it, and once you arrived at a template which shows your, or which matches your typical shoot, your very typical shoot, then you go and save it again. And you go like save as production book standard. This is what you call the second version. Standard. There we go. So now you got two versions of the production book. One standard one, which pretty much always applies and which is very easy and fast to adapt to any given shoot. And you've got a complete one, which you can use to reference anything that you stripped out. If you've got a more complicated shoot, which involves more, then you can go to the complete version. So these versions, or these two versions, they are really, really, really valuable for you, because they will give you the power to come up with a really good planning without much effort and without much friction. And the last piece of the puzzle would be, how do we integrate that very smoothly into our workflow? And that is what I'm going to show you in the next video.